last time I talked, I told some interesting stories about some animals that were saving lives.
Hmm.
I'm going to go a bit of a different route this time.
Oh,
But before I do that, I shall start this thing off with a circle of life rant.
okay.
So, the worst way that I can imagine dying is being eaten alive.
By anything or
I
just
mean, no matter what would eat me, a bear, a shark, a crocodile, fire ants.
oh,
It all boils down to the fact that I don't want to be poop. There are two reasons why I don't want to be eaten alive.
okay. Just two.
Just two. Just
Man,
two.
short list. All
It's
right,
short
I could
list.
think of a bunch more.
No, there's only two. There's only two.
Okay, let's go.
First, it just seems extra painful. Uh,
Yeah, well, it depends where they start eating you at.
no, it doesn't. No matter what, it's painful. We don't have animals like Godzilla that can just swallow you like a pill.
Mm-hmm.
Any animals that eat you are going to have to chew on you. I mean, when an animal on land, at least, I'm gonna say when it's on land, it eats you, then you slowly die while something takes enough bites out of you to make sure that you can't move anymore. No. So that's reason number one. It'll hurt a lot.
Yeah, lots of pain.
Now the second reason is not only is it physically painful, but it's insulting. Now,
No dignity there.
I doubt that someone initially attacked by a polar bear or a tiger is thinking about becoming poop at first. Eventually, I figure with the blood loss or after getting your spine bitten in half, then you're just stuck there getting eaten while you die. It could be a handful of seconds or minutes, but it's time to sit there and ponder your situation. And I know that if it's me, I'm going to think about the fact that I'm about to be a pile of shit instead of a gnarly skeleton. Have a good transition into my topic.
Yeah, thanks a
So
lot.
as I said, last time I talked about some animals that did really cool things. Well, today, speaking of man-eating animals, today we're going to talk about how terrifying Nile crocodiles and saltwater crocodiles are. We shall start with the Nile crocodile. Nile crocodile. Anyway, Nile crocodiles live in Africa. Go figure. Didn't see
Wow.
that one coming.
No.
Yeah. They mostly stay in freshwater habitats in the central and southern and eastern regions. I say mostly because they can sometimes be found in saltwater areas like
Or
deltas or
condos.
brackish lakes. No, you're thinking of Florida alligators. It's a whole other thing. Typically, the Nile crocodile can reach lengths from 11 to 16 feet and weigh up to 1,600 pounds.
Damn.
They're opportunistic predators that will pretty much go after anything in their range on land or water. It doesn't matter. They also use ambush attacks and have been known to wait for hours, up to weeks, for the right
Damn.
moment to attack. Speaking of which, most of their hunting is done from waterways where they will wait for their prey to approach water to drink or to cross. Smaller prey, they just bite and overpower them and just chomp away. Your little, eat them up.
Yeah.
But with larger prey, that's where they tend to exhibit their strength. Using their tremendous bite force, they will pull and force the animal into water where they will drown them.
Get them on the home turf.
Yep. If they're on land when they catch a big critter, they will just whip their head around and tear their prey in a way that causes them to lose blood. They'll team up. And when
Really?
one crocodile will bite into it, and as soon as it's holding it still, all the others will take the opportunity to bite into it and they just rip it to pieces. Just
Oh,
right then and there.
wow. I didn't know they shared.
They don't have very big stomachs. I mean, this is one of the craziest things about them. They'll sit there and kill something big, but they don't need to eat a lot. And so that's why a lot of times, you can find remains, but they'll tend to put, like drag it off somewhere, and then they'll just come back and keep taking bites out of it over time.
Yeah, they shouldn't have supersized it.
With that being said, with Nile crocodiles, humans are on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
It is reported that Nile crocodiles attacks on humans can range between 275 to 745 attacks a year, with 63% of those being fatal. Now,
Damn.
these are reported attacks because it's believed that many still go unreported.
Yeah, you can't
I mean,
report yourself. You just been eaten.
yeah, if your crocodile poops somewhere, you can't really report these things. The Nile crocodile is responsible for more attacks on humans than any other species of crocodiles, and it's not because they are the most aggressive. People are close, and as I said earlier, they are opportunistic predators. They eat people because they have more opportunities to eat people than any other crocodiles do. Now that we've gone over the fact that Nile crocodiles are big, scary people eaters, let's talk about one particularly big Nile crocodile. Gustave is a Nile crocodile that is said to have killed as many as 300 people.
Holy crap.
Yeah. No one is sure because at this point he's more like a boogeyman of the Ruzizi River. So no one can say what his exact size is. It is said that he could be up to 20 feet long, which is about 4 feet longer than the high end of the average length, and weighs a literal ton, so 2,000 pounds. So heavier. Through his size, it indicates he should be about 100 years old. However, him still having his teeth say that he could probably be around 60 years old and still growing. He is identifiable because he has 3 bullet scars on his body and a large scar with unknown origins on his right shoulder. Scientists that have studied Gustave say that due to his extra large size, he isn't fast enough to hunt quicker prey, leaving him to go after things like hippos, buffalo, and people. Hippos.
Hippos.
Hippos. Which those things are scary on their own. I mean,
No
they don't
shit.
necessarily eat people, they just kill them.
Yeah.
They're dangerous. He had a movie based on him called Primeval. It is rumored that he was killed in 2019, but no corpse or photographic evidence has been provided. So,
Yeah.
kind of like a
Somebody have been
Bigfoot
showing
thing.
off some boots or something.
Yeah.
The 85
Now,
pairs of boots he would have made.
um, before I move on to our next batch of killer crocs, the saltwater crocodile, you should know that 4 Nile crocodiles have been caught in Florida since the year 2000. Now that we've talked about the crocodile with the biggest body count, we're going to just go to the biggest crocodiles. They're just huge. All right, so we're going to talk about saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles live in various wetlands, rivers, and saltwater habitats across Southeast Asia all the way down to Australia. This means that their range and like where they could be, it goes from like parts of India all the way down to Australia up to Micronesia.
They know
All
all
those
the
little islands.
languages.
Well, not just that, but they have range because they're adapted to travel oceans. They can use ocean currents and travel hundreds of miles with like no effort.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's like that's not good.
That's the last thing you expect to see in the ocean. You're already scared of sharks and whales and anything else, and you get bit by a crocodile in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, no, because it's not like, not like a shark's going to climb up on your boat or nothing.
Yeah. Think you're in the clear.
If an alligator can hop out of the water and jump on our boat in Louisiana, I imagine a crocodile can do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are very, very big boys, and they can grow to be 20 feet long. So, like the size of Gustave. Well, the length of Gustave. They dwarf him in actual mass because they can weigh up to 3,300 pounds.
Damn.
So, it's a Gustave and a half. Just around there.
Guess they got to be bigger to make those long trips, huh?
Yeah, pretty much that. And think about like the stuff that they might have to fight while going in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, there's big stuff out there too. All right. Like the Nile crocodile, they are opportunistic predators. Saltwater crocodiles, however, are more aggressive and will go after pretty much anything that gets in their territory. They're very territorial. They've been known to eat kangaroos, orangutans, tigers, and sharks
How in the hell did they catch a kangaroo?
when it goes to get a drink in the wrong spot. Now, the entire list of what they've been known to eat is way longer. It's just easier to say that they'll eat pretty much anything. I mean, if it moves and it's where that crocodile's like, oh, they're in my kitchen. I'm gonna take a bite. That's how they work. Now, unlike the Nile crocodile, they pretty much keep their hunting to the water. So that's awful nice of them. You don't really have to worry about, walking next to a tree and just having a crocodile take a bite out of your ass. Well, a saltwater crocodile. This leads me to the other nice part of them. There are typically only around 30 people a year that are attacked by saltwater crocodiles.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice of
And
them
only,
to take it easy on us.
yeah, and only 50% of those are fatal.
Oh,
So, you know,
no drop in the batting average there.
yeah. Now, some of that is because they don't have the forced proximity that Nile crocodiles have. People don't have to live next to them. Like they do in Africa. Africa, it's like, I'd move, but, where am I going to go? Saltwater crocodiles, though, they are incredibly aggressive. So as their territory is identified, it's just a matter of avoiding it. You
Did
can't
they
really
put
do
up a
that with
sign
the
or
mountains.
something?
Australia has attempted to relocate saltwater crocodiles that display aggression towards people, but they almost always find their way back to the original territory. And it's like my house. So instead, they install crocodile warning signs. They have signs saying, hey, don't swim here. You're going to die. Something's going to eat you and you're going to be crocodile poop. Now, for the most part, since they don't have to share their habitat with people who need it, for day-to-day living, they don't have people as a regular food source. With that being said, it does not reduce how freaking terrifying these things are. I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
An American model by the name of Ginger Meadows. She went to visit Australia after seeing the movie Crocodile Dundee.
Who didn't want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really odd way to start this story. I mean, outside the whole like drug dealer aspect of the plot, the only thing that I vividly remember that in the knife scene is the crocodile jump scare that they do in the movie. Girl's trying to fill up her canteen, crocodile jumps out of the water at her. If that did not catch someone's attention while they're watching that movie, they weren't paying attention. And the other thing, movie has crocodile in the name. All right. Well, Ginger and her friend Jane Burchett boarded a boat called the Lady G. The boat arrived at Cascade Falls in northern Australia on March 29th, 1987. This area is known to be infested with saltwater crocodiles. Not inhabited, infested. The captain of the Lady G advised Ginger that she should not so much as dip her toe in the water while they're there. Much like people who investigate mysterious sounds in haunted houses, Ginger and Jane decided to go for a swim.
Of course they did.
Yep. As they were swimming, the captain saw a 12-foot long saltwater crocodile going straight for him. He shouted a warning, but it was already too late. The two women were trapped beneath a waterfall in waist-deep water as the crocodile lurked just feet away. It swam at them with its mouth open, and Jane threw her shoe at it, just chucked a shoe at it.
She
And
don't
it,
have the power of the chancla.
No, she didn't. But remember what we learned about alligators, and I imagine crocodiles the same. Something goes in their mouth, they clamp down.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
throws a shoe at it, it clamps its mouth down on the shoe, bites down. And Ginger took that as a chance to get away. And she's like, "Peace out, Jane."
Oh, they
And
like
she,
shoes. Get out of here.
yeah, she just jumped off into the water and swimming, and she only got a few feet away whenever the crocodile bit her around her midsection and pulled her under.
Damn.
Jane said the crocodile lifted Ginger back out of the water and they made eye contact just before it pulled her back under.
Oh my God, dang.
Yeah, I know. It's like, hey, say bye. Oh,
Yeah, look what I got. I got your friend. See you
yeah.
later. I mean,
Ginger's,
after a while.
after a while, Ginger's body was found the next day on what would have been her 25th birthday. Story. Because, when it comes to saltwater crocodiles, the stories are freaking horrific. On December 21st, 2003, Sean Blowers and Ashley McGuff, age 19, along with Brett Mann, age 22, were riding four wheelers in northern Australia. They stopped at the Finnis River to wash some of the mud off of themselves. Brett was unfortunate enough to get caught by the current and started getting pulled away in the river. Ashley
Damn.
and Sean jumped in to grab him and started trying to lead him back to the shore. When Ashley begins screaming, "Croc, croc, croc," they all took off swimming as hard as they could for the nearby mangrove trees. Those trees with the big old roots that are in the
Yeah.
water. They were swimming there as fast as they could. Sean and Ashley got to the trees and climbed them, but they couldn't find Brett. He didn't scream. He didn't splash. He was just gone. 2 minutes later, a 12.5-foot crocodile brought Brett to the surface as if showing Brett's body off to his friends, and then he swam off. Saltwater crocodiles are the most aggressive crocodiles. They don't like it whenever you're in territory. This crocodile returned without Brett and stalked Ashley and Sean in that tree for 22 hours.
Damn.
Eventually, they were rescued by a police helicopter and were treated for shock and exposure. So they even had to get lifted out. Brett's body was never recovered, though. So, yeah. Ugh. Crocodiles are horrifying.
Yeah, terrible way to go.